Over its history, Monster Jam has had thousands of events over its near 35 years of its history, and sometimes those Monster Jam events can go pretty poorly, and sometimes the events can be so bad that they become infamous for all the wrong reasons. And that's what this video is for today, as a part 2 to a video I made 2 years ago about the top 10 worst Monster Jam shows of all time. So here it is, 10 more of the worst Monster Jam events of all time. You may not agree with all of these shows I have on this list, so I'm going to have a poll open after this video comes out, so vote for what you believe is the worst Monster Jam show of all time, and we'll come back to this video in the future with your guys' thoughts and opinions in mind. A lot of people love the 2014 season. I am not one of them. However, there's one event many say is the worst of that year, and to be honest, it probably is. I mean, it is Anaheim 2014 Show 3. Racing, it's racing. There is a whole lot that ends up happening, but freestyle was not it. There's some pretty bad stuff here. Devastator getting stuck on top of camper, Nicole Johnson doing Nicole Johnson things, and that Shaka freestyle. I'd rather stare at the wall and wonder why it's there than watch that shit again. One of the worst freestyles of all time. It doesn't get a whole lot better from here. There is some pretty good action. Lucas Oil, Crusader, Son of a Digger, and Moxie freestyle. However, they all fall short of filling the damn clock, and we were very close to having another Dawn Epideno freestyle win. Thankfully, Dennis Harris was able to save us from this weird type of fate. It's a damn shame because this was actually a pretty damn good line. Things quickly went off the rails in freestyle. Yep, an actual modern Monster Jam event is on this list. This event saw Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger dominate everyone. Sweeping racing, tool skills, and freestyle. 5 trucks attempted the backflips, only one of them, that being Son of a Digger, actually succeeded. This is the definition of a nothing type of show, and just kind of a skip. Actually, anything from our Monster Jam should probably be skipped, but we're not going to go down that damn rabbit hole. You may notice not many Monster Jam events on either top 10 lists, and that's because most of these events honestly feel the exact same. Like, the difference between a good and bad show is not nearly as much a difference as in the old days, so that's why this is going to be the only event in the entirety of the 2 parts list. You know, sometimes poorly judged events can make it on the worst shows of all time list. Our first example is Phoenix 2012. From the start, it's obvious this was going to be a weird one. It's Predator 1 Racing. In 2012, Predator 1 frickin' Racing. Freestyle, while it did have some solid runs, and despite some pretty crazy air, especially from El Militia and El Toro Loco, it gets deflated by the poor-ass judging, especially in how the winner got determined. A 24 being 3/8 is a fair enough score for Son of a Digger, that being the winning run when Ryan Anderson left 15 seconds on the clock is an atrocity to God itself. Mark McDonald absolutely got bent over by the judges, because his freestyle run should have won, no questions at all. Instead, they gave him 3 7s and a bonus score of 2. Seriously, fuck off. I know I said in part 1 that there would be no mud events, but for this one, I've decided to not have that rule in place. This was the first time Monster Jam went to Dodger Stadium, and man, did they get the shit end of the stick with weather. The show, by all accounts, was pretty incredibly boring, and seeing everything air was not going to be a factor at all, and sliding would be very common, and it seems transmissions were getting cooked. It was also going to be a major factor. It looks pretty excruciating being there, and that's not even going to account that there was a damn lightning delay as well. The freestyle runs, like, it doesn't really matter. The rain just basically made everything just take longer, and racing was especially terrible to look at. So that just ended up becoming a thing. I'm gonna say it, it looks like it was what a shitty experience because the ground looks like shit. Did I mention before, shows can sometimes get ruined by piss poor judging? Here's example number 2. To kick off the 2005 season, Montreal would start the season off, and the action was, well, fairly standard, if not very average. So like Craig Christensen. But the judges decided to take a stupid ass amount of acid and give War Wizard a 28 despite leaving 35 seconds on the clock. Little Tiger got a perfect 30 despite its run being okay at best. The rest of the freestyle was unremarkable outside of Hot Wheels doing its best breakdance impression. Then Maximum Destruction, driven by Phil Foster, gets 2 10s and a 6 on the side. Just blatant shit bias right here that gets massively caught up by Douglas and Schrader. The end of the freestyle is also a killing blow as Dennis Anderson Gravedigger 19 rolls over early. An event that had some decent potential but was okay at best in action, but absolute shithouse in terms of judging. Another case of shit weather playing a factor. Remember World Finals 21 where in the final round the Flood Bowl happened? Well, this was the original Flood Bowl. This situation in SoCal caused massive issues with truck equipment. Gravedigger, Monster Patrol, Bigfoot, and many more all had major mechanical problems. In fact, most of the damn field had mechanical problems thanks to range, as really it seemed to be transmission and motor issues. This shit got so bad that the cost officially ranged to over $100,000 in cost in damage, which equals to a much bigger door in inflation. The officials decided to cancel freestyle because of all the costs and chaos around. Imagine if something like that happened today. Actually, considering failed if weather got bad enough, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if shit like that would be pulled off, but we don't have time for that in this video. This event was Monster Jam's first event in Australia, and man, if I was an Aussie Monster Jam fan and this was my first show I went to, I would have sued for false advertisement. Adam destroyed the back end of Gravedigger the Legend, celebrating his racing win, and that was the tone of the entire night. The show took the worst side of destruction and basically displayed it for all the Aussies to see. Over half the damn field was destroyed by the end of the night, and freestyle got off to an embarrassing start with Iron Man and Raptors Rampage as freestyles. A couple of freestyles went the full distance like Zombie, Medusa, Monster Energy, but many of the rest of them went out short or got massively short like Son of a Digger, Gravedigger, and more. Let's just put it this way. Ryan Anderson scored a 24 in his freestyle run. And I say mostly it's fair enough. But when that run was the winning freestyle run and not much argument could be made about it, that should have been a sign that this was really not going to be good. If IGN judged a Monster Jam event, this is widely considered to be one of the worst judged Monster Jam shows of all time. The lineup was alright, racing and freestyles themselves weren't too bad, but the judging, I mean shit. Way too many runs got overscored, the worst being Prowler and Richhead.com. In fact, Richhead.com got a 30 after like 4 hits and a rollover, and it ended in a 3-way tie, which already sounds bad, but you add the shit judging, Odd Frog and Gravedigger 14 basically pulling a crush it, not functioning, being pointlessly competing to lead this event being this high on this list, so it's not a surprise. This was the first Minneapolis January show in 2 years, and to be honest, I wish the Metrodome roof collapsed again because the whole damn stadium needed to be fumigated after the shit bomb of a show. It's obvious what the problem is right off the bat. The lineup is ass. The best driver there was Alex Blackwell driving Wolverine, not Cap's Curse, but Wolverine. Outside that, there's John Seaside Grinder, Grandpa Dan Patrick and Sampson, Ben Limp Dick in Iron Outlaw, Paul Strong in Bad Martial Law, Scott Buto before he was cool, Becky McDonald before she became weird in El Toro Loco, Craig Christensen in the Weird Max D, fucking Joey Parnell, Randy Brown was there. This was absolutely gonna be atrocious, but still, even with all that bullshit of a lineup going around, these fuckers managed to do worse than you thought. Racing was alright, I guess, but freestyle, you know, sometimes when you just look at results and see the scores, you just know that an event was fucking trash. This is one of those cases. Christian didn't even freestyle. Grinder basically destroyed itself. Blackwell rolled over early, and Randy Brown did his usual Randy Brown bullshit. It was bad enough Blackwell did an encore after Brown's freestyle. And somewhere, there's an okay show in this lineup, but these guys brought in some of their worst for the night. I mean, hell, Darren Migas won the event. No offense, Migas, but it was not going to be a high-profile freestyle run. And this is the worst show for part 2. If you haven't seen it, hopefully you don't do yourself a disservice and watch this show because, wow, it's bad. And the lineup, oh man, it's gross. Yep. And we haven't even looked at the scores yet. The best driver all weekend, by the way, was Randy Brown. Yes, this was a disaster. Of course, somehow Randy Brown was invited to. And only 2 of the runs even scored a 20 or higher. And Gary Schott Jr. driving Jurassic Attack didn't even fill any of the bonus. Just regulation period got a 22 and almost won. Somehow Randy Brown played the hero to keep us from this doomed fate. Show 2 would be a lot better than this show for a mountain of reasons. Many mechanical issues and rollovers from Bad Habit, American Guardian, Bounty Hunter with Darren Migas nuking it in the ground, Randy Brown style, Maniac, El Toro Loco, Cloning Activator. It was a whole thing. The less I talk about this show, the better it is for everyone. So yeah. I have opened a community page for you guys to share your own posts, whether it's monster trucks, NASCAR, F1, or another form of motorsport, or other things like food or tier lists, or pretty much anything is welcome. Now that I say that, I'm going to regret it mightily. Thank you guys for watching. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to create a poll that lasts a month long, and you guys can vote on what you believe is the worst show, and we'll come back to this in about 2 to 3 months' time for another video. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.